Welcome back, everybody. My name's Chris, and this is another midweek video. In this week's midweek video, we're going to be taking another trip down our Lightroom journey into Develop Module Lane. So, there we go. Down to this guy again. So we're back to the screen share, guys, and you can see my mouse there. Happy day. Okay. Last week we covered the library module. So this week we're going to move on to what I would consider the next step in going into your Develop module. And I will say these are pretty much the only two I use. I had already collapsed all these, but when you come into Lightroom, all of these are going to be open, but I just wanted to collapse them so you guys could see all of the different options you have as far as developing your photo. But for right now, we're going to swing back to the library module because I don't want to have to edit all of these because I know some are very similar. So first I'm going to show everybody how I kind of narrow down the photos and vent out the ones that I'm not going to work on. There are a couple ways to do this, and some people prefer them, one way versus the other. The first way is the star ratings, so I can hit 1 star, 2, 3, or 2 stars, 3, 4, 5, so on. To remove all the stars, you do hit 0. And then the other way you can go is 6 through 9, which is the color rating. 6 is red, 7 is yellow, 8 is green, 9 is blue. And to remove that color label, you hit the same color that's already highlighted on there. So if I have 8 for green, I hit 8 again, and green is removed from that label. So those are my two main ways that I will go through and kind of choose different photos that I want to work on. So I'm going to start with 3 stars, and everything I think is pretty good, I'm going to go to 3 stars. So I think I like this one more than this one on the left. Guys, I'm literally just selecting the couple of photos that I think I like. I'm only using 3 stars right now. That way I can kind of go back and tweak up to 5 stars or 4 stars. And that'll kind of determine which photos I end up working on. These were kind of just example photos. So I'll just breeze in here real quick. So this is with a strobe flashing onto the bike, an external light, and then this would be the available light, so it kind of shows a big difference there. Total tangent. Moving on, I really like this close-up, boom, and I really like that with the nice bokeh back behind it. So let's see. Now on the bottom in here, I'm still in the library module, everybody. So going down, you can see I'm sorted by capture time. You can reverse the sort clicking the A to Z button. These tabs on the left will help you navigate through what you want to do, so I tend to keep it in this kind of looking like a contact sheet so that way I can preview everything. On the right, I control the size of my thumbnails, and over on the right here you have more filters that you can use, but seriously you just need to stick to the basics. That's really all you need. So I'm going to say it's got 3 stars or more, so I'm going to click 3 stars here. 3 stars and higher, I end up with 7 images. So that'll work for me. We can go through 7 images here. So now we're going to zoom over onto the Develop module as promised. So thanks for holding in there. Now that we have 7 photos that we're going to work on, I'm going to drop this down and just use the basic tab. That's all we're going to use today. We're not going to cover anything else because you can really dive deep once you get to tone curves and detail, lens corrections, all that kind of stuff. So that could be a whole new journey. So right now we're just going to color balance. I want to pick something black using the eyedropper. And don't really like that. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'm going to cool it off a little bit just for that tone. Maybe a little magenta in there. Awesome. So I'm digging that color. I'm actually going to drop the exposure for this shine in the center. So that's why I'm doing that. And I'll bring the highlights down just a touch. Pump the shadows up so we can see more of the bike, but then drop down to the blacks. And you can see how just the darkest parts of the image really get down, so you can really punch your image there. White, same thing, it's just the brightest parts of your image, so you can see what that slider would do there. We'll keep it pretty neutral, maybe bump it just a touch, kind of give it that contrast. And of course you do have your contrast tab here, which I try to stay away from as much as possible because it tends to really just do a little much when you can use the highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks to really tweak in exactly how you want. Now what I do use a lot, which some people will disagree with me, but that's fine. I love the clarity. It's tough when you're shooting, people versus a still object to use this, but I think it's a really useful tool to kind of sharpen up your image, and the dehaze kind of gets a little extreme for me, but if you were in a super hazy situation, say shooting towards the sun and you're getting a little bit of lens flare or something like that, that can really help you tweak it in. And then the last two we have in this basic drop-down panel is the vibrance and saturation. So you can see I'm still zoomed in here. All I did there was click to zoom in. You can turn the vibrance up and you can see how much yellow and kind of magenta purple it pulls out. So that's really not the look I'm going for here. So I'm gonna actually drop that down a little. I'll increase the saturation just to show you what happens there, where I'm getting more yellows. And now this time, if you drop that all the way down, you're obviously going to like a monochromatic black and white image. So I like to bring the vibrance down a little and actually punch up the saturation. So you kind of get that in between faded, but you still get a lot of color and detail out of your image. So, and then I'm gonna hit the backslash button and show the before and after. You can see up at the top of the screen, right up here, the before and after. So before, a little blown out. After, you obviously get a lot more detail. You can see kind of my fence post hiding in the background there, dropping those blacks down, removed it completely. So it can actually save you a lot and really clean up an image. And what you can do here in the Develop module is I'm gonna hold Shift and click on my last photo. So I have all 7 photos selected. And I'm gonna hit the sync button. And what that's gonna do is pull up this other panel, and you can select which items are going to sync over to the other photos. So if I hit check none, obviously nothing, and I can just say I want the white balance to transfer over. I'll hit synchronize, and you can see my white balance here is -10, -16. I'll go to the very, random photo here, -10, -16, done, but nothing else has been changed. Where if I click on that same image again, then select all of them, hit sync and check all and synchronize, I can go to that same photo, there's this one here. Sorry, let me make sure I show you this photo here. And now you can see that I have all the same adjustments that were created on the first image to the last. Obviously it won't work perfect, but if you're going for an overall look or feel for all your images, that'll help you kind of batch edit everything across, which is what Lightroom is essentially all about. And that's where I'm gonna kind of pull the plug for this week. And don't forget to like and subscribe. If this content's helpful and useful, help us create the community here to help other people learn and expand their photography, audio, video skills. And we'll just keep growing, and you guys can grow with us, and we're happy to see you. Stay creative.